Hello everyone, great to see such a lovely crowd. You've much finer weather up here than what we have in West Cork, but that's not to say we're going to move or anything like that. But I suppose the reason why I'm here is, I suppose you're sick of hearing it yourselves, the misinformation about farmers. You know, every time you put on the radio, television, social media, you know, it's all the farmers' fault. Climate change, farmers' fault. Meat is bad for you, it's bad for the planet. The water quality, again, it's all the farmers' fault. So I am sick of listening to this, and I suppose the fact that there's absolutely no one standing up to us, nobody. There's nobody to counteract all of these statements. I think that's wrong. Even on social media, there's a certain environmentalist, I'm not going to mention any names, but he is constantly putting down the farmers and constantly saying it's our fault, everything re climate change. So, I mean, currently the world population is 8 billion. It's going to head to 10 billion by 2050. So where is the food supposed to come from? Where are we supposed to get our protein from? Insects? I don't think so. I'm a beef person myself. Also, another thing is the billboards. I've travelled through a lot of towns lately, and on the billboards, I actually have them here, putting out about farmers. I can pass these around, I printed them off. And on these billboards, if you don't mind, I'll read it out for you. The Go Vegan World's 2023 New Year campaign in Ireland is, we address veganism as a moral imperative and references the effects of non-veganism on climate change. The campaign will run on 120 buses as well as billboards nationwide. So here you can see a picture of a cow here, and here they are blaming animal agriculture for climate change, which is totally wrong. We all know the number one emitter here in Ireland is Dublin Airport. Do you see that on billboards? Have you seen it anywhere? No, you haven't, neither have I. So that's wrong. I don't know how our supposed farm organisations are allowing this and are not doing something about it. Water quality is another huge thing. Sean touched on it earlier on. Again, we're being blamed for that wholesale. It's the farmers' fault, it's all the nitrogen. I'm not saying we're not, we're doing our part, but we're not the only ones. The EPA recently put out a report that only 51% of their sewage systems are treated to European standards. What about the other 50% or 49%? Sean Harris mentioned it earlier on. 7.5 million tonnes of raw sewage going into our watercourses every day. That's equivalent to 3 Olympic swimming pools. 3 Olympic swimming pools. Could you imagine if that was a farmer with 1 litre of slurry? Could you imagine the red tape and regulations that would happen? You know, never mind 3 Olympic-sized swimming pools. The methane emissions from ruminants, we hear a lot about it lately. The scientific name for that is CH4, or a lot of you might know it as cow farts. Okay, sorry not to be so blunt, but this is causing huge chaos amongst everybody in Ireland, especially the people in urban dwellings, not rural as much. But the CH4, the methane gas, lasts in the atmosphere for about 10 years. Carbon dioxide lasts in the atmosphere forever, never breaks down. Methane gases break down after 10 to 12 years, and that is in a carbon cycle where the cows will use it to reduce food and produce meat and milk. We all know the main contributor here is the burning of fossil fuels, and our government wants us to re-wet our land. We've spent generations, all of us here in this room, generations before us, have spent years trying to reclaim land, not re-wet it. I think there's enough water here in Ireland, we don't need any more. What can you sell re-wetting for? How many children can you put through college with water? Not very many. So at least if you have your dairy or your sheep or your beef, you can sell off your produce at the end of the year and put your family through college or pay your bills. Makes a lot more sense than retaining water. Just another fact there as well, in the 1970s there was over 7 million ruminants in this country. There's now over 6 million. Emissions have gone up, cattle numbers have dropped, cars have increased. Not rocket science, this, you know, I'm not a rocket scientist, don't take to be. Emissions gone up, cattle gone down, and we're still being blamed. It's totally wrong, totally wrong. So it seems to me that the focus is solely on our indigenous industry here, and that's our agriculture. There's no mention at all of all the good we do, and I suppose the problem I have is there's no one coming out standing up for us. Absolutely none. Here we are, we're sustainable producers of beef, dairy, and sheep and tillage, not to forget them. No talk of that. There's no carbon sequestration that we do. All the good we do. There's, you know, we're painted to be the big bad wolves here in rural Ireland, and that's wrong, and that needs to change. for Ireland to meet its 51% target for 2030 and net zero for 2050, who's going to help to make that change? Farmers, of course. We're the only ones, we're the only industry that can help, make us meet our targets. But we need an all-inclusive approach. We can't have people pitting against us, it's the farmers' fault. We need to have urban and rural dwellers together singing from the one hymn sheet, because we're the only ones that can help this situation and bring down our carbon emissions. We need the government to invest more money in us. We're way behind in our EU countries, as in we don't have anaerobic digesters here. They've been over in France and Holland for the last 20 years. Why don't we have them here? You can produce biofuel from that to fuel our transport. You can then go on to use the runoff from that is digested, and that's very high in P and K, and it's an organic fertilizer which we can then use on our land. Why aren't we doing this? We could be doing this for the last 10 or 15 years. Why aren't we getting support to do this? It's not, our government doesn't have any appetite for this, unfortunately. I'm not going to hold you any longer. You all know what I know, but we just need to get it out there. Just on a final note there, on a global scale, this is on a global scale, how much emissions are we emitting? 0.1%. So that's 0.1%. Our government wants to close us down for 0.1%, while China continued to build 43 new fire-fueled plants. And they want to put us out of business. I think it's now time for rural Ireland to wake up and not to take any more. Thank you very much.